broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello everyone, and welcome to Sailor Moon Crystal After Show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. We are reviewing Act 10 Ski, aka Moon. I am Kaori Takee. That's right. And I've got a great panel with me. I've got Markeia McCarty.
Yes, right here. Hey all. I enjoyed this episode.
And you're looking fresh and hot.
Thank you. I've got all my Hawaii wear on.
It looks good though.
So everyone went to the moon and she went to Hawaii. That's awesome.
Not a bad trade-off.
Not at all. And next to her, we've got newcomer Megan Salinas. You may know her from other after shows, of course, and I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's so fun to be here.
Yeah. And we've got Dale Rutledge.
Hi.
I have missed you.
I know. You know what? Sorry I missed the crying episode, but I'm glad I'm back for this one.
Well, really quick, because you guys weren't here 2 weeks ago. What did you guys think of last week's episode?
We were talking about this prior to the show. So much crying.
Very much crying.
So much crying. Like, even the characters in the show were feeling awkward. Like, I felt like half of the episode was just them standing around awkwardly while Usagi cried.
Yeah.
It was awkward for everyone.
But I was glad, story point wise.
Did you say porn?
Story point wise. That's a different AfterBuzz show that I do. It was nice to get there, and now everybody knows what's going on, and we can just start heading in a totally new direction. No more Discovery episodes for all the girls. So I'm excited for getting past that episode.
They have completely reversed the show from being really lighthearted and cute, and Usagi kind of being ditzy and dumb. Not dumb, but klutzy.
Yeah. Just, naive.
Yeah.
Airheaded.
Full of wonder.
Yeah.
And now it's super dark and super serious now that everything's come out in the open, their history and everything. So it's gotten really good. I mean, it's always been good, but now every single episode, I'm even more ants in the pants for the next one.
I think we hit the melodrama point.
Yeah.
It's still good, but it's definitely that, like, okay, this was definitely the 90s.
Yeah, this is getting real.
Yeah.
Right now. So let's just get into the episode. But before we do, overall thoughts about it. This one.
I really enjoyed this one.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed how packed it was. Like, it was packed to the point where it was like, hey, guess what? All of them could transform at one time, but we can't do it. We don't have the time. We don't have the 45 seconds. Just step on, they're in the shield, they're in space.
That's when you know that we've hit a certain point with the plot where they're not even doing the transformation sequences anymore. It's like, okay, we've got to go.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think this was the best episode so far, in all honesty.
I think so too. And it had everything. It had just like the story development, finding out about the four kings actually and their backstory and how conveniently they were in love with Sailor Sentries. And also, I want to give props again to the animation because because as the way the story is going, I feel that it needs a lot of emphasis on that, and they're doing it so well, and it's so great to look at.
There was this one shot, and I'm just like, when I saw it, I rewinded because it was so beautiful. It's when she's looking at the watch and she is, saying, Endymion tuxedo mask, and then it has her eye looking at the watch, so you're seeing the reflection of her in it, and I'm like, this is an anime, this isn't a movie. And they're doing that, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I think when they went to the Millennium Kingdom and kind of saw how it used to be in its glory, I think there's a lot of beautiful shots with that. And I really reveled in seeing what their world used to be like.
Yeah.
Now that I've gotten used to the art style, because at first the art style was really throwing me off in those first couple episodes, now that I've gotten used to it, it was great to look at.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. So this episode starts off and Sailor Moon, as Usagi, is playing in the arcade, and she's kind of back to her normal self, which was nice, and she was happy, and her four girls are happy to see her that way. But they're ready to go to the moon, And like you guys said, they transform. By the way, they were rocking some pretty cute little outfits.
Yeah.
I was serious about the fashion. Talking about that.
I really enjoyed that they put some information and some knowledge at the top of the episode.
Yeah.
It's like, so here's all these things about the moon, the phases, and what those mean.
We're going to throw a bunch of, non-facts at you the rest of this episode, so we'll tell you some actual stuff about the moon.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll pad that bed for you.
Speaking of fashion, though, I love that her dad just, put the crystal on a necklace.
That was nice of
Just
him.
so I would have this really important pinnacle of the story put on a chain.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And it was a cute father-daughter moment too, because he was watching her and wow, one day we're not going to have her anymore and she's growing up. And the mom's like, nah, whatever.
She'll always be our spoiled
Although
brat.
you do have to wonder how that initial conversation went. Well, Dad, could you take something to the jewelry store for me? I need it on a chain. Sure,
Yeah.
honey, what is it? This?
Yeah.
Just something that could save our entire world.
Where'd you get this big old gem,
Yeah.
I know, because it looked so cute and everything. It didn't look fake. So
He didn't have more questions than, is this from your boyfriend?
Yeah.
Is he
And
in the mob?
even then, he asked that as a joke, and then when she said, "Yeah, kind of," he was like, "Wait, what?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
You need to get more involved in your children's lives, probably."
I know.
If you're not sure.
And yet he still gets the gem. The gem isn't glowing, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I didn't even realize that it wasn't glowing. Even I know last episode, pretty much its power got absorbed into Endymion, but I didn't realize that it lost its glow. But anyway, it wasn't glowing until she goes up to the moon. And I thought it was awesome, the whole moon scene and how they kept going flashbacks and they were talking about, oh my gosh, we remember now, and how beautiful we were at our happiest. But it's so ironic because it feels that every time they talk about their past or we see their past, I feel sad. Right?
Well, it's a tragic story, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically all died. I mean, essentially. And
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Because
rough.
that's something that if you watched on Cartoon Network back in the day, for whatever reason, when they were editing it for television view for American audiences, that was something they always steered away from. Like, as much as they could, even if in the original Japanese, it was like, yep, that person died. And for the American airing, they're like, no, they just vanished for a little bit. No big.
sleeping. Very long sleep.
Yeah.
well, they took like that roundabout way of like Queen Serenity using the Sailor Moon crystal. Yes, the Sailor Moon crystal, the legendary silver crystal. She encapsulated all of them and then like somehow transferred them into wombs on Earth. Because it's all a beautiful fairy tale. But yeah, for this one, it was like, okay, the cats went back. And that's it.
Yeah.
Well, and even like halfway through during this scene when it's talking about how Usagi met her and like back originally, I was like, oh, she killed herself. Oh, that's dark and different.
Yeah.
With each other's hand in hand. I thought that was a very cute Romeo and Juliet type of situation.
Cute's not the word I use, but definitely tragic and romantic.
Tragic and romantic. That's good. That's probably more on point, yeah.
So she sits there and she's sitting there talking to, I guess, a hologram of her mother where even though her physical form is gone, she managed to conserve this, to have this moment that she's been long waiting for to talk to Princess Serenity. So Queen Serenity is there reminding them about everything that's happened in the past. It was kind of sad. I know I keep saying that, but it was so sad watching her talk to her mom and her mom giving her, don't worry, Endymion's alive because of your love for him, and then she started fading away. Don't forget. Yeah. I started tearing up. I don't know why. This thing makes me cry a little bit. The past couple acts.
It was like the thing of like, okay, picture a mother's love, which is, beautiful and encapsulating and everything. Pictures a mother's love to transfer her awareness into a computer on the moon and then wait because history had to restart itself on Earth until Serena, I keep on doing that, Usagi and the rest of them could eventually come back so that she can say that last farewell message.
It's so sad.
The depth of that.
Aww.
Thanks, studio audience. They're into it.
And she was, she left a very important message for her. She gave her courage, and she reminded her to continue to be a little girl.
Yeah, be happy was the long and short of it.
Which Usagi's still kind of, struggling with, but with the help of her 4 Sailor Scouts, it's helping her out. I do think it was a happy scene when she went to go visit Earth and she comes back and she's trying to sneak in, and then the first thing that opens is Sailor Mars being like, what she said?
Princess.
Yeah, princess.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot like just kind of watching them play off each other, in present day. That is exactly, they are the same people, and that is exactly what the reaction would be.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, I did like the way that they went from the present day into the past, where like later on when it was like Sailor V and the rest of them were fighting, the 4 kings, and then she's like, no, remember who you used to be, and they're like, what? And then like this wind comes up and her hair goes up, and then all of a sudden they're on Earth with them back in the past. It's like, nicely done.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big reveal for me. This is something that we were talking earlier too about. I didn't remember being touched on in the original series, but I'm also a little foggy sometimes on the original series.
It's been a while.
Yeah, that the knights were actually good guys, and I guess their boyfriends / whatever.
I do not remember that at all. If that happened, I watched all those. I have those episodes. I don't remember.
Markeia predicted it really well.
Oh, did you?
I loved it. I was like, Markeia, girl.
She was sitting there like,
Yeah.
Well, I never got this far in the manga, but my friend growing up, she had like all this Sailor Moon stuff. She had all the manga. She had like DVDs with that were in Japanese with subtitles on them. And so she told me that this is how it was, way back in the day. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, because in the original series, none of them are on the good guy side ever. They have moments where they get character development and you can empathize with them, and they definitely have the capacity for good. We see that with Nephrite especially, but for the most part, no, they were all evil. And they were perfectly content with being evil.
Yeah, it was kind of sad. So, back in Queen Beryl's lair, she's talking to Metalia. I keep forgetting this.
Queen Metalia, I think is the name, yeah.
So they realize that they still have a use for Endymion. They're basically going to go make him evil up on Earth. It's going to be really weird next episode. But, the 4 kings overhear that, wait, we are connected to him in a good way. We're supposed to be his servants. And then she turns them back real quick into evil beings. And then they have a phenomenal fight against the other 4 scouts, which I thought was awesome.
That was a great fight scene.
Yeah.
Especially since it was a little not action-y last episode. It was nice to have this really jam-packed action sequence.
Yeah.
Like you said, not even enough time to transform. They just like, let's get to action.
Yeah.
oh man, like they had the planet attack, the Sailor planet attack happen, and it's there was no swirling lights, and here's the green part, here's the blue part, here's a wall of energy.
It was great, and I like that they're not recycling the animation for all the attacks. That's kind of nice to see every now and then, but if you watch like the old series back to back to back, it gets really repetitive.
Yeah.
And I like that this isn't like that. It's like, okay, we maybe get a transformation sequence, but for the most part, it's all flowing and all new and all action. The only complaint I had about this fight scene was the reveal from Sailor Venus that they were in love with these 4 knights. And it's like, I don't have a problem with that as a story point because it is true to the manga. But it's like, you couldn't have told them beforehand. I mean, we already had a bunch of exposition. You couldn't have just slid that in there too, because you clearly have known about it since you came back.
Yeah, she's like, wait, before we start this fight, there's some shit.
Well, didn't she forget until she saw them again?
No, she
wrote. It seemed like she knew.
It was referenced in the last episode.
Why would she do that? That's like the love of her life plus 3 or something.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
That's intense.
Yeah.
I was busy. She was crying. I didn't want to bring it up.
I had to do her hair. I had to like hack off this much.
You know what's silly is I never noticed until this particular episode that she actually has like an extra beat around her as the leader of them. I never noticed till this one.
Yeah, and I like that she was also the one. They all helped pull the sword out, but that she was the final yank on the sword.
Yeah. Oh yes,
I
the
like
sword.
the symbolism of that as well.
Yeah.
And that makes sense too, since she was the first one on Earth that found out that she was a Sailor Scout and everything like that. It makes sense that she would be the leader of their group, you know, when Sailor Moon's not there.
I like how well they all just kind of came into their own and how well they all worked together. And I think that when they were getting defeated, they were about to get their ass kicked by the four kings, and then Sailor Moon comes out and does her escalation, which healing.
Whoa!
I mean, where you have that?
Fly!
Yeah.
But do you remember, like, way back when she first did it, and she did fly over Tokyo with it, but it wiped her out.
Yeah.
And now, zoom,
Whole planet.
I'm in orbit. It's like the exponential growth of her power is wow. And we're only like halfway through. What is she going to do by the end? I mean, this is like Dragon Ball GT territory.
I know, yeah.
She was like up there, like, let's just instead of just them, like, why don't I just do the whole entire city? Fuck it. I'll do. Oops. Gotta bug my mouth somewhere around there.
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty cool.
But no, you're absolutely right. It's so fast paced because I think, you know, again, I hate to keep saying, you know, we're back in the original series. It took about 30 episodes to get to this point.
Yeah.
And there was like another like 15 episodes of Darien being evil and everything like that.
Ice skating happened.
and in the previous, in the original, the classic, we'll just call the classic cartoon. It didn't feel as dark. It was sad, but it wasn't as tragic.
That's because it was
if that makes
edited.
sense. Yeah.
If you watch it uncut, there's some stuff.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end of that first season. I won't get into it.
But
Uncut in Japanese is the best way.
I'm totally digging Sailor Moon Crystal, though. I love how they're doing this. I love it, and I'm sad that I'm sad with it too. So, do you guys think, and you know, do you think especially that Queen Beryl has a thing for Endymion?
Oh, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she has been aching for that for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, and I feel like she remembers everything. Do you guys get that feeling?
Yeah.
It seems like it.
If not everything, she remembers enough to be, you know, vengeful about it.
She's definitely vengeful, yep. And she knew she was keeping the secret from pretty much everybody. I definitely get the vibe that maybe she knows like 98%, if not the whole thing.
Yeah. Maybe that last 2% is just what Queen Metalia,
I guess,
Metalia
doesn't want her to know, like is able to block.
Yeah.
I think Queen Beryl ultimately she's pretending that she wants the crystal for Metalia, but then she keeps talking about how she wants it for herself and for her own ruling. So that might be her undoing.
Yeah, and it sounds like she released this evil as like a means to an end, like because she obviously, you know, they make it very clear that she was the one that killed Endymion, and that, you know, she's being very vindictive about it because she found the reincarnations of the four knights and immediately turned them onto her side.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, this is all very, strangely enough, well thought out vengeance.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what better revenge is there than getting the people you love to, you know, murder your enemy, or getting the people, your enemies, getting their loved ones to be the ones to finish them and end them.
Yeah,
that was my favorite line from this episode was, how dare you attack girls who are in love?
Oh, I know. It was so funny. I was like, that is awesome.
Like, only on Sailor Moon could you get that.
So Usagi.
No other show could get away with that.
And they came very close to actually healing the four kings, but it didn't happen. Hopefully soon.
I don't think so.
No.
I think it'll be a while.
I think it'd be like a one at a time type of a thing.
One at a time.
Kunzite. Thank you. Kunzite, I think, would be the last one because him and Sailor V. He's either going to be the last one or the first one. I'm getting into predictions.
That's okay. Medley talk.
I could see that. I would bet last. I could see that happening.
Kind of seems like there's a strong thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I would hope that they just get at the same time because I don't know.
Well, I mean, Sailor Moon Classic, not during this particular arc, but there were other arcs where you do convert some of the bad guys to being good guys, and usually it was at a one at a time basis.
Yeah.
Like I think they were the Doom Sisters.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar?
Oh, that sounds
Did I say
familiar.
that right?
I think you did.
Yeah, because there was the one that I remember the most was the one that was like Sailor Mercury, but she was like, because she was ice and had ice blue hair from the classic series. I think she was the first one out of the Doom Sisters.
Okay.
Yeah. See, I vaguely remember all
transfer
these
over.
the new villains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic series.
Well, you guys.
Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to keep harking back to the old show.
please.
No, we. You
One
know
other
what?
round
It's
time.
good because my memory is shot, so you're helping out a lot.
It's been a minute, gotta be honest.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So, yeah. Anything else about this episode other than, I mean, we can talk about predictions in the next episode. And Demian's coming.
It was just really creepy to see Queen Beryl all over him. That was
Yeah,
weird.
she was like.
I didn't know what she was holding at first.
I was like, I just want to smell you. Your hair is very clean.
It was almost like for a second she wanted to save his life because she said we still have some use for him still.
Yeah, you weren't really sure because, I mean, otherwise he could be gone already. So, unless she truly is just that evil and she's saving him to, Trojan horse
if
kind of
she was in
situation.
love
It's
with
like,
him
oh,
before, this is her second chance to get everything she wants.
That's true.
So
She's on a roll so far.
she's got the kings on her side. She's got, the prince that she's always wanted that spurned her before. So, and, again, what better way to get vengeance on your enemies?
It was really sad during the classics watching Darien being in this trance. And I know I'm going to be twice as sad watching him in this trance with this one because this one's so much more melodramatic.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll have to do it the same way like in the classics. Not exactly the same way, but where Serena had to basically attack him.
Yeah.
Like with her tiara, almost cut him in half for him to like wake up, which was
That was
so
pretty
awful. And this anime now is so much more real. It has no problem with going there.
Right.
So you can imagine where they could take it with this one.
Yeah, it's funny because you don't expect that from such a cheesy, fun show. Because again, one minute it's like really cheesy and they're playing video games and talking about how dare you hit girls who are in love. And, and then the next you're like, oh gosh, this is dark.
Yeah.
It'll turn on a dime for sure. And I like that it has that width though, because then it keeps you on your toes more. But yeah, until he comes out of that trance, who's gonna make out with Usagi while she's asleep?
Oh, yeah.
She still thinks that's romantic. I still think it's great.
I'm with you.
I wonder if Queen Beryl does that to Endymion when...
That's
where he got it from.
No one needs that mental picture.
I got it from Queen Beryl.
Oh, Lord.
All right, guys, let's move on to... There's a news and gossip I'm sure you guys heard. No, there we go. I snapped and it went. It was exciting.
Nice job.
I'm sure you guys heard that their second arc is officially announced in January with Chibi Moon.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. That's
I
excellent.
had not either.
Yeah, so
Chibi Moon.
Chibi Moon's getting back into... Come January, Sailor Moon Crystal will have that arc of the Sailor Moon story. So I think the whole thing about... Queen Beryl is going to come to an end by the end of this year.
Wow.
Has to.
Yeah. So, what'd you guys think of Chibi when you guys were growing up? Because I hated her.
I hated Chibi.
Thank you. I did not like her.
I was not a fan.
I went back and forth between being annoyed by her and then being really sad with her story because her story went all over the place, and even as Sailor Moon went on, it started becoming less about the Sailor Scouts and more about Chibi Moon.
Yeah.
Towards the end there,
Like the Dream Prince thing.
Yeah.
That was a unicorn. And dream mirrors.
It seems like, I don't know, I thought she was cute at first. The introduction of her character was interesting to me, but then, like you guys were saying, the longer that she's there, the more like dragged out and like, what are we watching this for?
Yeah.
It became, I don't know.
It's
There's
like
something
I
weird
thought
about
I
it.
was watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, not the Dawn Chronicles.
Yeah. She's a lot like... Well, she's, essentially Sailor Moon's daughter
Spoiler
from the
alert,
future.
I guess.
Yeah,
For
but-
anybody who doesn't know.
It's out there.
it's out
At this
there.
point.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean,
If you've
everyone knows
avoided
that much.
spoilers for 20 years or whatever, you're doing
Good
all
on
right.
you. Good on you.
So I'm hoping that I'm gonna like her more with this edition of Sailor Moon.
Well, on the plus side, then we'll also be getting Sailor Pluto.
yes,
about to say,
yes,
yeah.
we
And
are.
she is awesome.
Yeah,
So
Sailor
awesome.
Pluto and Neptune as well. We're eventually gonna get them. So yeah, that's pretty much what's gonna happen in January. So that's pretty awesome. So I feel that because we know this, the last couple acts moving forward are gonna be super dark. It's gonna be the battle with Queen Beryl.
I was gonna say, yeah, if starting in January we have Sailor Chibi Moon, does that give us like 3 episodes until this entire story arc is
literally
wrapped
three-
up?
I think
three
it gives us
episodes.
They can do it.
three.
They can do it.
They can do it. It has been moving at an increasingly fast pace.
Yeah.
20 minutes and only 20 minutes long. I'm like, oh my god, I have to watch it again. What just happened?
Yeah, it's all lean.
Yes.
Full throttle, ahead. But something that I'm wondering though, like to just throw that out there, since you said like that's the arc, the next arc is going to happen in January. Do you think with Sailor Uranus and Neptune, are they going to keep them lovers?
Oh,
or are
yeah,
they going
absolutely.
To make them
They
cousins?
better.
better.
Yeah, they better.
That was so weird, wasn't it, in the American version when they did that?
Yeah, that they made them cousins for the American audience in
Yeah.
the same way that they turned Zoisite into a woman for airing on the American audience side.
Why do they have to fluff it so much for the American audience?
I don't know. Do
Well,
we
it
need
was-
to be catered to that
It was
much?
they were putting it in like a kid's block.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think they were just thinking like
They just
what-
didn't want angry letters from angry
Exactly.
parents.
Yeah.
The 90s was pretty loose when it came to that kind of stuff, but I think it was just the fact that it was like,
Well,
at least
it's
in my
stuff for
market, it was
kids.
stuff for
Yeah.
kids. Yeah.
And I think that is such a great doorway to open, though, for kids, especially in this form where it's like, hey, okay, so 2 people of the same gender can love each other because this is here.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you about this. Be like, okay, cool. Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it was also, 20 years ago.
Yeah. It was
We've
20
come
years ago.
quite some ways. Just for contrast, by the way, Chibi Moon showed up in Sailor Moon S in episode 103.
Ooh, what a difference.
Well, because
14.
she left for a little while. She left for a little while. After that whole story arc in Sailor Moon R was completed, she left for a little bit and then came back
Yeah.
as Sailor Chibi Moon.
And when she came back.
She's like, you all need apparently a small child to get you back into shape.
And it bothered me how mean she was to and how irritable she made Sailor Moon. But then, Endymion or Darien would always kind of back the little one up and be like, it's fine, she's fine, she's just a
she
little
was
girl.
always a daddy's girl.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I was totally side with you, Usagi, totally.
Well, and I try to empathize with her because it would be weird to go back in time and see your mom when she's in high school or a middle schooler, and that would be weird. But at the same time, she was such a brat.
She was such a brat. So we'll see how she plays that out. And I think that's about it for our after show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems good.
I'm always sad when it comes to
I know, yeah.
But in the meantime, you guys can definitely keep on following us and keep on tweeting us. Where at, everybody?
I'll go first. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
you go for it.
I,
I stared at you. I'm like,
my Twitter is. I am The Walking Dale on Instagram and Twitter, and you can also find me cooking up some delicious recipes on youtube.com/dishingonmovies.
And I'm Megan. You can follow me on Twitter at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin.
That's
I'm
cute.
long story, but I'm also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, including Sword Art Online and Z Nation later tonight.
I'm Markeia McCarty. You can find me on Twitter at Markeia McCarty, MarkeiaMcCarty. I'm do WWE main event here. Obviously, this show. Please come back and watch us. And if you like live comedy, I have a number of shows at iOS in Hollywood. Check out my Twitter. I always post on there when my next one is.
and you can find me at KAORIOUS on Instagram as well as Twitter. And yes, follow Dale because there's a contest going on for grilling cheese and Big Hero 6. So check that out.
You can win some pretty cool Big Hero 6 swag.
Yes,
cool. Thanks for the pop.
Just saying. And you can follow the whole entire AfterBuzz team here at AfterBuzz TV, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks for or the first Sunday of December for another episode
There
of
it
Sailor
is.
Moon
There
Crystal.
it is. There you go.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.